Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're doing something a little bit different. We are going to evaluate Google's latest I/O announcements, but purely through the lens of a venture capital analyst looking for market disruption. We aren't just going to look at the flash and the hype, we're digging into the business fundamentals, comparing these innovations against current industry benchmarks to see what actually matters. Okay, let's dive right in. Before we get into any of the specific features or the shiny new products, we have to establish the massive scale and the total addressable market we're dealing with here. Think about this number, 900 million. That is 900 million people coming to Gemini every single month. When you're analyzing market potential, an active user base approaching 1 billion is literally the ultimate launchpad. It means any incremental improvement in workflow or retention is just amplified by massive scale. So how are we breaking this down? We'll methodically analyze this tech through 5 clear business-focused pillars: scale in software, security, hardware, growth, and finally, the singularity. This structure is going to help us understand the commercial so what behind the keynote. Okay, pillar number 1, scale and software, or as I like to call it, automating the digital life. We're witnessing a massive shift right now. Traditional enterprise software requires active manual input, right? You have to click the buttons. But Google is heavily leaning into agentic AI with Gemini Spark. Spark basically acts as your personal AI agent, just navigating your digital life in the background. Imagine doing your primary work while your agent handles all the peripheral tasks, like emailing neighbors who haven't signed up for an event yet or tracking a list of who's bringing what. From a VC perspective, this is a massive productivity multiplier. It transforms software from a static tool into an autonomous employee. And this next part leaps over a major benchmark bottleneck in enterprise creative workflows. With Gemini Omni, Google is tackling the biggest friction point in generative design: recreation. They call it not rolling the prompt dice. Previously, if you generated a video of a character named Jazz riding a bicycle and then decided you wanted to add a dog to the basket, you had to reprompt and just pray the style didn't completely change. Well, Omni allows you to just ask the model to add the dog without recreating the initial asset. This kind of iterative control is exactly what creative teams actually need for full enterprise adoption. This flows right into deeper creative disruption through Google's new flow tools. First up, vibe coding, which completely democratizes software development. You can literally code a game just by talking to the AI. You could ask for a game where you pop bubbles, and with each bubble you pop, you jump higher. Simple as that. Then you have flow music, which absolutely disrupts traditional music production benchmarks. You can take a standard house music track and tell the model to transform the ending into an operatic tenor on the fly. These tools drastically lower the barrier to entry, and they are totally poised to flood the market with new consumer media. Moving on to pillar 2, security. This is all about building the trust moat. Because right now, the current market bottleneck is severe. Research shows that humans can correctly identify high-quality deepfake videos only 25% of the time. 3/4 of the time, we are completely fooled. Google actually highlighted this viral, hyper-realistic but entirely fake image of a specific person eating a hamburger. If businesses and consumers can't trust the digital ecosystem, adoption stalls out. Trust is the baseline currency of the AI economy.
Google's commercial solution to this bottleneck is a technology called Synth ID. And listen, this isn't just a basic feature. This is a serious infrastructure-level play. Synth ID embeds an invisible watermark deeply inside the pixels of an AI-generated image. And because it's baked into the data itself, you can't crop it out or easily manipulate it. You can simply ask Gemini or Google Search to verify if an image is AI-generated, and it'll instantly tell you.
But here's where the venture capital lens really lights up. Google isn't keeping this technology completely siloed to themselves. They announced a partnership with OpenAI, who has actually signed up to use this exact same Synth ID technology. By aligning with their absolute biggest competitor on this front, Google is effectively building the industry standard moat for digital transparency. They're making their proprietary tech the foundational layer of trust for the entire generative AI market. All right, pillar number 3, hardware and the new visual paradigm. Tech companies have struggled against industry benchmarks for years, trying to force consumers into bulky, expensive VR headsets. Google's market strategy completely bypasses that friction. They're driving adoption through 3 distinct phases: prioritizing everyday wearable design, building out frictionless utility, and ultimately delivering generative reality right to your eyes. To execute this, Android XR is heavily relying on strategic design partnerships with some of the world's top eyewear designers. We're talking Gentle Monster and Warby Parker. They are creating prototype reference designs that just look like normal stylish glasses, but the utility is staggering. You look through them and instantly see the time, the weather, and zero-day countdowns to your events. But even more importantly, they offer live language translation. If someone speaks to you in Japanese, it translates right there in real time. This frictionless utility makes the hardware totally indispensable for daily life.
And then they layer generative AI right into the physical world. Through these glasses, you can look at an object, take a photo, and completely regenerate your reality. The Google team demonstrated taking a visual and asking the AI to make it in the style of Adventure Time meets Halo. Instantly, right in their field of view, they generated Master Chief on a phone with these vibrant Covenant-style visuals. This blurs the line between digital generation and physical reality, which opens up just endless commercial applications in gaming, education, and design.
That brings us to Pillar 4, growth, specifically scaling human health AI. Right now, a massive demographic is totally locked out of the wearables market simply because the benchmark devices are too bulky, complicated, or just way too expensive. Google's answer is the Fitbit Air. It's incredibly small, super lightweight, and virtually invisible. The pitch is that you can't even feel it's on. From an investment standpoint, removing the physical friction of the hardware is the absolute key to capturing that vast, untapped market share.
But the hardware is really just the Trojan horse here. This invisible tracker enables frictionless, continuous data collection, and that data feeds directly into an always-on AI coach powered by Gemini. This coach is always there, deeply understanding your specific biometric data and proactively guiding you in real time on how to be a healthier person. This specific integration of Gemini's intelligence with Fitbit's data pipeline is what drives significant long-term market growth. It completely transitions health from a reactive, transactional industry into a proactive, highly personalized subscription-style ecosystem.
Which brings us to our final pillar, the macro view, the singularity.
There is a quote from the keynote that perfectly encapsulates the gravity of this moment. They explicitly stated that when we look back, we'll realize we were standing in the foothills of the singularity, and that it'll be a profound historic moment for humanity. Now, this isn't just marketing speak. This is the core thesis driving billions of dollars of capital allocation at Google.
So what does that actually mean commercially? Well, the singularity represents the critical point where AI technology permanently surpasses human intelligence. And as they pointed out in the presentation, it's going to happen before we know it. We are witnessing this rapid convergence where AI software becomes infinitely capable while the hardware becomes entirely invisible. When intelligence scales infinitely at near zero marginal cost, it fundamentally alters every single market dynamic on Earth.
The sheer speed of this progress is staggering. It promises to do amazing things for the world, but from a purely business perspective, it is fiercely disruptive. So, the final question you absolutely must ask yourself as you analyze these trends against your own industry benchmarks is this: when this intelligence paradigm permanently shifts, will your business be disrupted, or will you be ready? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep learning, stay focused, and I'll catch you next time.